Hello everybody, it's Julia here from the Highly Sensitive Tarot, and I'm here today to do my sort of monthly what have I been up to, what have I been doing video, and I thought I'd do it in two parts. I thought I'd get my face on camera again because it's been a while, and if I don't do it at sort of regular intervals, it starts to become an issue in my head, and I avoid doing it even more. So, so I thought it was time to sit and look at the camera. So I've got some decks to show you that I've been working with in March and a book, and I've got two new decks to show you that I bought in March, and I only bought two decks, so I'm feeling quite proud of myself for that. I bought two decks and three books in March, so that's not bad, is it? It's not bad. But yeah, what else do I want to tell you about for March? I do want to say a big thank you, first of all, to everybody that sent their prayers and their love and their healing and their thoughts to little Isabella, my friend's granddaughter. She's on the road to recovery. She is improving. She was very, very poorly a week or so ago. She had to be moved to another hospital and she was put into a coma, and they've been trying out sort of more therapies with her, really, and I think basically they've cleaned her blood up, and she has started to improve. She's more lucid. I don't think she can talk yet or walk or really do a great deal at all, but she is having lucid periods, and I think there is a lot of hope for her future, really. I think she's got a long road ahead of her with her rehabilitation and her recovery, but she's on the mend, and that's the main thing. So yeah. For me personally, it's just the month has flown by, hasn't it? The month of March. Well, I just think this year in general, really, excuse me, has just flown by, hasn't it? It's gone so quickly, particularly the last couple of months. There's been some quite big changes in my life in the last couple of months, good ones, but they've really thrown me out of my comfortable little routines and kind of turned my world upside down a bit. And those of you that know me well will know what these changes are, but they're good ones. They're positive changes. So yeah, I'm still waiting to move. I'm still sat here sort of half packed. I have unpacked a little bit of my stuff because this has been going on since, I think it was about October last year, September, October last year, that I thought I was moving and then I didn't. So you can't sit surrounded by boxes all this time, and I've realised there's things I've packed that I need, and and also I've accumulated quite a lot more things just in the last 6 months or so, really. I mean, I must have another, I don't know how many tarot decks and books just in that time, really, that I've been packing to move. So yeah, it's fine. It's all fine, actually, other than it's starting to become spring, and I quite desperately wanted to start planting things and sowing seeds and, doing all of that kind of stuff. And I can't, there's no point. There's no point me doing that. So I've got some herbs growing on my kitchen windowsill, some mint and some parsley, and I think I'm going to start some coriander as well. So, that is my little that's my little thing, and I'm just going to have to live vicariously through everybody else's gardens, aren't I, for the time being, until I have moved and I've got my own garden again. So let's have a look. So For March, I was working with witchy and pagan decks, really. And I'd got 4 tarot decks and 5 tarot decks and 3 oracle decks, and I didn't use them all, to be honest. I didn't use them all. I'm also still reading this book here, A Spell in the Wild by Alice Tarbuck. I decided to read it month by month, and then I shall probably read it from start to finish, knowing me. But March was all about money, which is money and protest. And it was really interesting, actually. You know, she was talking about how she feels about money, her relationship with money, how, as she's, you know, been a witch all of these years, how people will say to her, well, you know, if you're a witch, why don't you just do some spells for money? And of course, life's just not like that, is it? You know, it's not for most of us anyway. You know, why aren't we rich? Why aren't we powerful? Why aren't witches living in mansions, she says, sipping champagne? Well, I think money and witchcraft have, like she says, have long been contentious bedfellows. It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult for all of us, I think, in this sort of magical, you know, tarot, witchcraft sort of community of what do you charge for and what don't you charge for? Because, while money is a heinous thing in this world in many ways, it's also absolutely necessary, isn't it? You know, if we don't have enough money to pay our bills, life becomes really quite unpleasant and really quite scary for a time. And also, if all you have is just enough to pay for your necessities and nothing spare for the nicer things in life, life can become really quite miserable and oppressive also. So while I've never really wanted to be like hugely rich, because I think that probably brings its own challenges and pressures and responsibilities, but it's just nice to have enough, isn't it, to be comfortable with. But what she did say in this book, really, that I thought was interesting and resonated for me a great deal, was that times in my life where money has been short and I've been struggling, you know, when my son was growing up at times, you know, and I'd know that I'd have a big bill to pay, like my car MOT, or there was something coming up that I was going to struggle to find the money for, that money would usually appear. It would usually arrive somehow or another, you know. I think I found over life, over the decades, over sort of 5, nearly 6 decades now, I've just discovered that you don't always get what you want, but you get what you need. That's a Rolling Stones song, isn't it? You don't get what you want, but you get what you need. And I think you do. There's been times when I've asked the universe to bring me things, and it does. Not always exactly what I would like, but generally it's enough. And I think I think it's important to have that kind of mindset, and, you know, not to have a scarcity mindset about money and about life, to have more of an abundant mindset, because I do think that energy attracts like energy to you, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm waffling. I'm probably talking rubbish, aren't I? So the decks that I've been working with this month, the Silver Witchcraft Tarot. I've had this deck for quite a long time, and I actually, aesthetically, I really like this deck. I find it really quite pleasing. I like looking at it. I like the colour palette of it. I mean, look at her, the 9 of Pentacles. Very strong colours, very simple cards. I like this deck a lot, but I found that it doesn't read well for me. it's not a talkative deck. Didn't have a lot to say. That's what I found. So I kind of gave up with that, really. I will keep it because, like I said, I do like it. I like the aesthetics of it, so I will definitely keep it. The next deck, and again, I just don't know. I don't know what the problem is with this deck, really. It's the Everyday Witch, which I know for some people they just absolutely love. You know, some people, this is like their reach for deck. And this was gifted to me, this was bought for me, I don't know, last year sometime. And while I think it's very cute and I really quite enjoy looking at the cards, and it is a talkative deck, it's a very talkative deck, I just don't find myself reaching for it. If I was going to pick up a deck that has a similar feel to me like this, it would probably be the Forest of Enchantment, something like that I would pick up instead. So yeah, I didn't really do a great deal with the Everyday Witch. I also had got out the Book of Shadows, Volume 1. I have used Volume 2 a lot in my tarot card readings, an awful lot actually. It's a very contemporary deck and resonates a lot. But this deck, Volume 1, I think this is the more pagan deck, and it follows the Wheel of the Year, and lots of the names are changed. Like for the Magician, we've got the elements there, just for instance. Trying to find in the Mages and I can't now. And yeah, instead of the Lovers, we've got Beltane. So yeah, I have used it a little bit, and it's a beautiful deck. I really like it. I shall definitely be keeping it, but again, it's not really very talkative and not really very intuitive. It might be better as an oracle deck for me. I'm not sure. If any of you do use it and get on with it, I would love to know, because you don't very often see either of the Book of Shadows decks, I've found, not Volume 1 or 2. The other deck that I've been using, and this one I have gotten on with, this one has resonated quite a lot, and it's the Spiral Tarot, and this was gifted to me by the lovely Emsy, and I have really enjoyed working with this deck actually this last month. It's very chatty, it's very intuitive, and I've had some good readings from it, so I have really enjoyed that. I've not been journaling a great deal this month actually. Oh, and that just reminds me, actually, yeah, am I going to pause this? Hang on, sorry about that. I had meant to get my my journal to show you, but I'm not sure if I'm going to show you anyway. The last deck that I've been working with is the Barbara Walker Tarot, and I've only pulled this out on one occasion for one reading, and it was actually spot on. But I still don't really enjoy this as a deck. I just find that it has its place for more difficult readings, ones where what I'm trying to ask about might be difficult for me, and I want something that's just going to tell me the truth, even if that's very bluntly. And this definitely does it, the Barbara Walker. It has its place in my collection, but yeah. So yeah, they were the tarot cards that I've been using this month, and in my journal, my my card for the month of March has been the Knight of Wands. This one here, it's been the Knight of Wands, and I think I've been feeling that actually for March. I think there's definitely been that kind of spark of passion in my life, and that creative urge, that creative pull, that sort of feeling confident to move forward in life, starting to feel alive again in some ways. So yeah, that has really resonated for me. But what has been worrying me is my card for April, which we're just now into, is the Three of Swords, and it's the Three of Swords from the Tarot of the Abyss. So it's the alternate version. It's not the real heartache, it's the alternate version. It's the one where I think there's lots of thoughts coming out of a book into a man's head, or vice versa. But I'd wrote in my journal about that when I did the reading. I'd written to find harmony between opposing forces, the ability to discern and make good choices. So that is causing me somewhat of concern for April, because obviously, as I said, things have been feeling really good in my life in March, and long may that continue. So yeah, I hope that the Three of Swords for me for April is something less heartache and more maybe just something mental that I've got to work out in my head, something I've got to sort of find some kind of balance for. The oracle decks that I worked with in March, I worked with the Earthly Souls, Spirits and Moon Oracle, which is a really cute little deck. I really enjoyed that. I also worked with the Enchanted Spell Oracle, which many of you know, I'm sure. And I worked with the Witches Oracle, and I think out of them all, this was probably my favourite. The cards, they're just beautiful. Look, aren't they just gorgeous? I've really enjoyed working with this deck this month. I've had some really positive cards come out of this, some really thought-provoking cards actually. The guidebook is very good for this deck. Yeah, I think out of the ones I've just shown you, I think probably this was my favourite oracle deck. If I was sat at my table, I'd show you some pairs and bits, but yeah, it's a really nice deck, the Witches Oracle. I can't recommend that enough. So yeah, they're the decks that I worked with in March. And like I said, for the decks for April, which I've already pulled out and I'm going to start to work with in the next couple of days, they're all nature-based decks. So they're all going to be flowers, trees, sort of landscapes, things like that. And I think I've got about 5 tarot decks and about 12 oracle decks. I've got a lot. So I'm going to work with them in April and May. I'm going to use them for 2 months. So that will be my spring. And I think for the summer, for June and July, I'm going to go through all my animal decks, because I've actually got an awful lot of animal decks, which I love, and including all my cat decks. So I think I shall probably spend the summer looking at animals and the spring looking at botanicals, flowers, trees, etc. So yeah, I'm going to do a separate little video shortly of those decks to show you. What I did buy in March were these beautiful books, which I had originally seen on Amethyst Ascension's channel. She showed these books, and it is The House Witch, by Murphy and Aaron Murphy Hiscock, the author of The Green Witch. I have not started to read this yet, but I think that will be lovely. I think I've always considered myself a bit of a house witch, a bit of a kitchen witch and a green witch, so yeah, these are beautiful. And I also bought The Green Witch's Garden, as seen on Amethyst Ascension's channel again. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of oohing and ahhing and everything over this, because as I said, I'm not really in a position to be doing a lot in my own garden other than just maintaining what's there. But I haven't sown any seeds this year. And I think that's the first time in, I don't know how many years, I have not sown any seeds. And I also bought, what came with it as well was the Green Witch's colouring book, and which I can't wait actually to get started on. Look at some of the images. Got mushrooms, beautiful bottles with all herbs in them. It's lovely. So yeah, I will, look at these. Oh, it's so beautiful. Look at that, look. Welcome to spring. So yeah, I will get stuck into reading those. And the two decks that I bought, I don't remember where I saw this. I saw it on somebody's channel just recently, but it reminded me this was on my wish list, and it was a deck that I've wanted for a while actually. I think that it's going to go really well with Brian Froud's Fairies Oracle, which is one of my absolute favourite oracle decks. I wish it didn't have these big black borders as per usual. I may have to trim that at some point, but the actual images themselves are amazing, aren't they? So it's the Tarot of the She, and it's by Emily Carding, and it looks like it's a Schiffer publishing deck. So yeah, the Tarot of the She. I'm not sure when I will get to working with that, probably a bit later in the year. And I also bought, and I just couldn't resist, I've been looking at this little deck for so long, and this was seen on Nova's channel, Nova Luna Tarot, and it's the Tarot of the 1001 Nights, and it's a Lo Scarabeo production. And I was thinking recently, I know there's a tag going around, isn't there, called Decks Discovered Through Others, or something similar to that. And I thought I could do a whole tag just on decks I have discovered through Nova's channel. Because this is definitely another one. Look how beautiful it is. Look at that. It is the cutest little deck. I think that Nova has trimmed this deck because, again, it's got silly borders and, you know, language in four or five different languages on the front. You know, I may trim this deck as well, actually. I'm not sure. Let's just look at that. That's the devil, isn't it? So is that like, ooh, is that like the genie out of the bottle? You see that? They're such cool cards. I'm really, really chuffed with this deck. I think it will also actually read well. It's a shame the images are quite small, and even with my glasses on, they take some looking at, but they are so very beautiful and very expressive and very intuitive. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using this deck very much. So I think that's probably about it, to be honest. I've shown you what I have been working with, and waffled on for a bit. So yeah, if you're using any of the decks that I've shown you, I would love to hear from you, your experience, and I shall hopefully see you all again soon. Like I said, I'm going to do another quick little video just showing you all my botanical decks, the decks that I plan to work with in April and May. So I hope that everybody's well. I hope that everybody's doing good, and I shall see you all again soon. Thank you.